Hello, I am here with Christine Thalwitz, VP of Marketing from ACAC. How are you doing, Christine?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's
Good.
a pleasure to be here.
Yes, it's nice to have you here. Are you enjoying IHRSA?
It is always phenomenal. I love seeing my old friends making new ones. It's
Yeah.
always a great experience.
How many years have you been coming?
Oh my gosh, I think my first IHRSA, well, I guess that was an institute, was back in 2001.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's been a great
It's cool to be a part of
journey.
the change and the
Yes.
growth and the innovation and everything, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Talk to me about ACAC.
Well, we are a group of independently owned clubs. We have about 12 locations right now in Maryland and Pennsylvania and Virginia. And we're, for the most part, multi-sport clubs. And we have a few satellite locations, like to try some new things now and then. But we really try to make a concerted effort to get the non-exercising population into our clubs. Also older adults, families. We love to serve the already fit, but we're all about reaching out into these other populations as well.
So communication is really important for member retention. How is your club making that connection?
Absolutely. Well, especially with trying to reach out to all those diverse populations, everybody's going to have a different method that works best for them. Obviously, we're reaching out in new ways digitally, but we do feel like that person-to-person contact is really important. We make a big effort of having events in the clubs, ways to get people in, connect them with not only the team members but also with other members, so that it really turns into a community.
Yeah, so what are some of the ways that you reach out to new prospective clients?
Well, I think a lot of times they've already done all their homework before they even come to us.
Oh, that's great. Well, so that means your marketing's good. Yeah.
Right, they've done their research, and sometimes
that's your
they come
job,
in.
right?
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes they come in already knowing more about us than you can even imagine.
Wow.
But yeah, we do reach out both digitally, but we do a lot of in the community events. I think it's very important to be out and about and be seen, and really be seen as part of the community, not just a club that throws the doors open and expects people to come to them.
It's important to be active outside of the club, right? In the community,
you're a participant.
and get involved. Yeah, cool. What are your goals for the future?
Well, we still really are on that mission to get the non-exercising population in the clubs. So we are very deliberate in the programming we offer and in the ways that we tell our stories. Our physician-referred exercise program is probably the cornerstone of this initiative, and so we have physician liaisons who go out into the community to call on physicians, almost like a pharmaceutical model. So it's really a one-on-one relationship building, educating of the program. We do some advertising for it as well, but again,
is that working well?
It is. We've had over 38,000 participants to date in the program, with 3,600 physicians referring. So it's something that just we feel really strongly about. The providers who are working with us feel like they're getting great results, great outcomes. And the best part for us is we're having people who come into our club who maybe have never had a club experience, who have hated exercise. And we do a very basic, our medical director, Dr. Degnan, calls it Exercise 101, but hand-holding 404. It's the most basic exercise program, but the really important thing is to nurture that individual. They have to feel successful. They have to feel welcome.
They like to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They like to know they're not going to injure themselves.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's an introductory program, so that at the end of the time, it's a 60-day period for us. They can decide to join the club, or they can continue to exercise on their own. At the end of the day, we just want them to continue.
Do you find that a lot of them do end up joining the club?
We do. We have about 40% who continue on to an annual paying membership, and then the others usually have found other outlets or continue somewhere on their own. So it feels really good.
To be a part of that initiative is probably really rewarding, right?
Yes, very much so.
How has your IHRSA membership benefited the club?
I think the events like these, when you come and you meet other like-minded businesses, we've made great connections. There are other clubs who are doing the same thing that we're doing, really making an effort to reach out into the inactive populations. And it's always great to network, see them, meet new people, hear new ideas. I mean, I think the explosion of digital technology, obviously, in the last couple of years has come about, has been a real learning curve for a lot of us. And I think IHRSA is great to bring all those resources together under one roof.
Yeah, the digital stuff I'm hearing a lot. It's like it's the greatest opportunity, and it's also the biggest challenge, right?
Yes, it is. It is, because you want to continue all the other things that are working well, and you're just adding another layer. But it is making that communication cycle more complex in that, again, people are researching ahead of time, finding out about you want to reach them in the club, you want to reach them out of the club, you want to be in their day-to-day. And of course, digital's making that possible.
And the other 24 hours that they're not hanging out with you.
Right. But at the end of the day, I feel like it still really is all about the human connection and the human relationship, and you can have all these other connections outside of the club in the digital stratosphere. But there's always going to need to be a human element, because if you could, work out virtually by yourself, you wouldn't need a club, and we could see that that's not working. So
right.
So obviously there is always going to be need for a club. If somebody needs that nurturing, that support to make that change in their life, that's going to be a human contact, not
Yes.
a streaming video.
Agreed. Christine, can you tell us about how community engagement has an impact on both employee and member retention?
Sure. I think a lot of it comes back to your brand and what do you want to do in the world aside from just running your business? What contribution are you looking to make? And I think as a company, once you've identified that purpose and that mission, if you develop activities and outreach and engagement around that, people are just motivated intrinsically to want to contribute to something, to be a bigger part of something, not just themselves. And so when you do that and you do that effectively, I think it raises team morale. The members feel great to be a part of it.
Yes.
And I think then you're a community. You're not just a club where I pay my dues. I'm actually involved in a community that cares for me, that cares for others. And
It goes beyond the club experience.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Can you touch on running successful health promotion programs, and what are your
Sure.
top 3 tips?
Absolutely. So when you embark on a health promotion, I would say the first thing to do is really look at what are you asking the promotion to do. Does the message resonate with your audience? Because you can have a great idea for something. If it doesn't resonate with your audience,
your
then they're not
people.
going to want to participate. I would also say don't overcomplicate it, especially when you're trying to get broad participation. Simple is really good.
Yeah,
And then
always.
secondly, I would say plan it out. Have a plan of attack, but at the same time be flexible, because as things come up, you may need to adjust course. And then lastly, make sure you're measuring and tracking so that you can celebrate. The celebration is just as important as the process
Yes.
to keep that momentum, that positivity going. And always know then your next step, so you can take the next step.
So how do you measure that success?
Well, again, I think it's track, track, track. You want to identify what with this health promotion am I trying to accomplish? Am I trying to get participation? Am I trying to get biometric markers improved? Do I just want people to feel a certain way? How am I going to track and measure those concretely? And then just making sure there's plenty of buzz to make it happen.
Cool. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Christine. If you could sum up your experience at IHRSA 2017 into one word, what would it be?
I think it would have to be explosion. It's
Ooh.
an explosion of knowledge,
Yeah.
just the blinders come off. I think the keynotes really challenge you, and it's great to walk away thinking about these challenges and how am I going to do better going forward? How am I going to think of new things and innovate and be a contributor to our industry?
I love it. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for sharing and
Thank
taking
you.
your time out with us today.
Thank you.